Hello, everyone. I think we are live. Please welcome. We're gonna give you a few minutes to tune in, and we're gonna get started very soon. All right, so I think we're going to start slowly, and we're gonna start with a little bit of an introduction. So if anyone will still join, they won't miss a lot. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are going to spend 1 hour today together talking about a very important topic, especially for today's business landscape, reputation management. Today I am going to be your host. My name is Pavel, and I am leading the customer success team at AppFollow. My guest today is wonderful Waleria Pągowska. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly.
That's right.
Valeria, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure thing. Hi guys. Hi everyone. I'm really glad I'm here, and thank you for having me. As Dana said, I'm Valeria, and I'm a product marketing specialist in Brand24, which is one of the leading SaaS for media monitoring, and I'm there for over a year, and I had one of the most common use cases for me and for the tracking during my work is reputation management. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about that, and and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Valeria. Wonderful introduction. Before we jump into the topic, I just want to remind everyone that if you have any questions, please drop them in the questions box. If by any chance you cannot find the questions box, you can leave them in the chat, and our moderator will move them to the question box so that we can answer those at the end. So without further ado, let's start. Reputation management, right? I think we all know a little bit about it, maybe some industries more than others. But just to make sure we are all on the same page, when we talk about reputation management, we define it as the practice of monitoring, influencing, and managing the way people perceive our brands online. Yeah, I think reputation management is of paramount importance in today's digital landscape. Everybody is talking online about our brands, about our products. People, they do their research a lot more and rely on other people's opinion before buying a product or a service. So I think it is a great and important topic to talk about. And another reason why it is so important is that when we manage our reputation and when we set up strategies to improve our reputation, right, by responding to reviews, making sure we interact with our users in our communities, on social media, etc. This builds trust and credibility with our users, and also it can offer us a competitive advantage We are able to influence our users' decision to buy our product or services simply by making sure we answer their questions, we respond to reviews, so they can then decide to choose our product over the competitors. So I have a question to you, Valeria, as a subject matter expert here. Do you think, and I'm sure the answer is yes, but do you think reputation management influences the success of a business? And if yes, how is that happening?
As you mentioned, yes, the correct answer is yes. That's a no-brainer. But the important and interesting part is like why and how. I wanted to share some statistics with you guys about why and how managing reputation online is important, because I cannot stress that enough. It is, and it's worth sacrificing a few minutes a day or even multiple minutes to manage that, because it's worth it. And first of the reasons why is it important is also like there's no surprise, it's customer trust. And of course we connect almost immediately reputation management with customer trust, but this is one of the main reasons. And I have some interesting statistics to show you how important for customers is your reputation as a brand, as a product, as a service. So nearly 3 out of 4 consumers trust a company more if it has a positive reviews. That's almost 75, almost, because it's nearly 3 out of 4, but almost 75% of people. And they this is your potential buyers. So 75% of them are more willing to purchase your service if it's our product, if it has positive reviews. 85% of consumers trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation, which is actually, even for me, surprising. I knew that information, but I didn't expect the number to be so high, because logically thinking, your friends have more impact on you with recommendations. But it turns out that when you're reading anonymous comments on internet, it can influence you as much, at least for 85% of people. And 60% of consumers say that negative reviews made them not want to use a business. So let's repeat it once more. 60%, over half of people decided not to buy something, not to go for a product or service, because the reputation of mentioned brand was not good enough. So when you're focusing on customer trust, there is a lot of advantages that comes with it. And one of them is also brand image, because when you're focusing on what people are saying about your brand, you can distinguish yourself from competitors. You can make advantage of what they're saying and put it into the product or service, because it's one of the everybody who is designing a product will tell you that it's important, and most important thing is what customers want and not what you can provide them with. It is important, but you have to focus on what they are saying. So this, and also one not so happy one, but it's also important, crisis management. When you're thinking about online reputation, when you're managing it correctly, you're prepared for the situations that can escalate quickly, that can manage they can make great damage to your company. But if you're prepared for that, the losses can be not big, not as big, or there can be no damage at all if it's made correctly. And also remember that it's different size of the topic, because from one side we have customers, from the other we have we have employees which are making the product or service, and on them is like it depends on them how good the product is. So when the company have a great reputation, everybody wants to be in it. So you can choose like the best possible employees for yourself, and you can it can influence the product. And on the other hand, you have also like partners and influencers and collaborators, which who can help you. And the same, it goes this way, that if you are a renewable brand, and if you have a good reputation, people will want to work with you. And financial performance is the last one I wanted to mention, and it's interesting actually, because I have here the statistics that every additional 1 star on Yelp rating causes an increase in the business revenue as high as 9%. It's a huge difference, and it's only 1 star out of 5, but still, like, it's big difference. So yeah, like, to summarize, it is important.
Absolutely. And I think the practices around reputation management, and like especially around trying to understand user behavior and putting ourselves in users' shoes, I think it's quite easy, because we are also online, and we are also buying products, and we are also checking reviews before buying anything. And I think we can agree that we can treat our users the way we would like to be treated, and by the brands that whose products we are buying and we are reviewing, etc. Very good insights, Valeria. Thank you. I think another question I want to ask you here. There's obviously various sources where or platforms where companies can manage their reputation management. Can you give us a few examples?
Of course. Yes. So if it comes to areas where it's important to track reputation, there are some like less known or better known places that you can get an opinion on your product. The most popular ones, of course, are online reviews and ratings. This is the place where like these applications or these pages, like for example Google reviews, Yelp, TripAdvisor, or the ones that are more industry specific, those are the places where people go to leave their review or read the review about your brand. So this is the place you want to be focused on when you're like managing your reputation, because this is a go-to place. Other one is also very important, and it's I would say less controllable, because it's social media platforms, and everything can happen on social media platforms. This is the place where your product can go viral in a split of a second, and you have to control it. So keeping a close eye on what's going on in social media about your brand is a must-have. Also, search engine results. Like I recommend to you just type in your brand or your area or of specialty, and look through first page, because most of us don't go. I think it's 98% of people stay on the first page of Google. So that's just not worth the effort actually to go further. But first page is really important. So go check how others are, what are they talking about, how they are, what they are saying about you as a product or as a service, and monitor that. Also, the important fact is that employees also have a say about that, and with how employees are perceiving your reputation as a brand, it's also really important, and it have a great impact on the positive overall reputation, because they are more happy to work there, they are more willing to improve the product and stuff like that. Also industry forums, this is also like the important place where it's more connected to your brand, your area of specialty, and like go on the Facebook pages that fan pages that are connected to your brand, or more into forums, blogs, stuff like that. You can not only manage your reputation, but also see some great insights about the market. One trick is also to have a competitor analysis. Because of that, you can check what like your competitors are doing and how customers are responding to it, and taking it to your advantage is a great opportunity to for your business to skyrocket and have better performance than your competitors. Also, brand mentions and influencers marketing. This is like when your brand is bigger or when you have collabs, people will be talking about you. So it's like important to check those informations, to stay on top of the news about your brand in every possible way. And there are also like because this is a lot of places to search in, and I'm aware of it, but maybe later, but we will, I guess, talk about also like how can you improve that. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it can. I can understand how it can get overwhelming with so many channels.
Especially when you're, for example, a marketing agency and you have a lot of clients that are that you are working for, and you have to be a social media specialist for all of them, and that can be overwhelming. I know, because like from my own experience, before I was a social media specialist myself, and yeah, that was a piece of work.
Wow, I can imagine just social media alone, all the social media platforms and the number of comments and messages and communities there. It's I cannot even begin to to check where it starts and where it ends.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's one of the things I wanted to add here. I think it's very important, and the reason why we're talking about channels and areas in which you can manage your reputation. I think it's very important to go where your users are, where people talk about you, just to be present there, right?
Exactly.
We at AppFollow, we specialize in app stores, but there are other platforms where people can review your brand and your products. We mentioned social media. There's other platforms like Trustpilot, G2, etc. And I think there's a lot of information and a lot of feedback shared. The reviews are, I think they of course require a lot of attention and a lot of resources to be managed and to sift through, but they are a treasure trove of information about what works for your users and what doesn't work, and how satisfied they are with the product. You can get valuable insights to inform the roadmap. You can help this if you categorize the feedback in a smart way. We can talk a little bit later about that. But you can help the development teams to prioritize bug fixes, to know what they need to focus on in the future, and also to decide on what to innovate. Users will often make feature requests in reviews. I think those are very, very valuable. And if we listen to our users and we implement those requests, it will just get us closer and closer to being customer centric. And then I think positive reviews are as well very, very helpful, because you can use these positive reviews to attract new users and unlock new opportunities. You can use them in your marketing materials, or you can create case studies, etc. But I think besides managing this user feedback, there's also the job of responding to these reviews, which I think it can be very, very challenging. In some industries, like gaming, for example, where users and players are present in all of the channels, this is particularly a big challenge. Because there's again a lot of reviews that are begging to be responded and listened to, right? So
Yeah.
one thing to remember here is that when you are responding to a review, you're not just responding to the person who left the review. Because reviews are so public and so open and everybody can read them, you are responding for everyone. So I think you have so much power in influencing potential customers. You can if you respond to user reviews, the people who come and visit the review section can be converted into customers if they see that brands are responding, are taking care of their users, and they're taking feedback seriously. I think that's very important. And
for sure.
Yeah, and responding to reviews, I think besides influencing potential customers' decision to buy your product or not, it also encourages loyalty among your existing user base. Once when you're showing that their feedback is important and it's heard, they are more likely to stay with you and buy from you more. And also, I think it helps in times of crisis. Like you said, a reputation management crisis can happen. Things can go wrong, and that's the nature of things, right? But if you can show that you are swift and you give appropriate responses, I think you can demonstrate that you are committed to listening and also to addressing your users' concerns and to find solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you, Valeria, how can we sustain a good reputation across all these channels? Can you share a few best practices there?
Sure. Yeah, I can. Like the first things that comes to mind is just having a great product or service, because they defend themselves. Like when you have a great product, you can like it sells itself. Partially joking, but that's also the true if it comes to online reputation management, because what makes the great product is for it to respond to customer needs, which are in the reviews, which are in the feedback that you get. So yeah, like first thing, have a good product, and how to do that, listen to people. But also there are some other tricks you can have to sustain this good reputation, and one of them is prioritizing customer satisfaction. So like there's nothing more important, seriously. If you are like have other priorities than your customer, you shouldn't even be there. Sorry for harsh words, but that is the truth. I am like my field of specialty is product marketing, so I'm focusing on it, and I like really see the value of it, and it is that simple. Not money, not opinion, not reputation, customers. This is the most important thing, so you have to prioritize it. Other thing is building strong relationships. When you have those customers, don't finish like end up things with thank you for your response. Make it further. When I'm getting a review from my clients or like the feedback for our new function, I'm trying to get deeper into what they are like, what their needs are. I'm having a conversation via email with them. I'm conducting meetings or like set up meetings with our product owner for them to really tell us what they need and to feel listened. So this is also like very important. also, sure, monitor. Build strong relationship. It was theirs. I lost myself on the slides. And yeah, I mean, this is most of it, I would say. So yeah, those are things I like from the top of my mind can also say just monitor where are you in the internet, monitor your online presence and adapt to it. Just roll with it and hear what people are saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think to your point, and I don't think you were too harsh. Customer satisfaction should be the number one priority, and the customer's needs should be at the center at everything. All the high level business decisions, your mission and your promise has to be around what customers need. But in practice, it's not that easy. That I know.
No. It's that's why we have like special employees for that, for
Yeah,
sustaining this. So yeah, it's taking time, but it's worth it.
absolutely. I want to talk a little bit about building strong relationships here, and but more through the lens of managing reviews. And I think I can share some best practices. We work with customers who manage their reviews in the app stores on a daily basis. So there are some tips and tricks that we can share with you today to make sure you're doing this effectively and that you're managing your product reputation in an efficient way. So I think the number one advice, piece of advice that we are always giving our customers is to try and respond to all of the reviews. I know this is very difficult, especially if you have various channels. But there are, if you have a lot of channels and you're a wide variety of products, and it's like difficult to sustain, then it's absolutely understandable that you will not reach every single user review. But there are some reviews that can be prioritized, and I think those will be more critical. Like, for example, long and or negative reviews. So long reviews will typically cover a lot of topics. So I think it's important. I always say, if the user took the time to write you a long review, you can also take the time to leave a personalized answer. And then negative reviews, and this is something that we will dive a little bit deeper in a minute. But negative reviews, of course, it goes without saying that they can negatively impact the user's decision to a person's decision to buy your product or service. So it's important to address first, but also if the reviewers have any issues that that can be fixed or addressed, then it's best to prioritize those. And when you respond to reviews, I think we all know that we need to be swift. We need to respond promptly, ideally within 24, 48 hours. That's what we usually advise our customers, because this shows that you take users' feedback seriously. You can also use review monitoring tools that can help you, especially if you have large volumes, that can help you navigate a crisis. For example, if you have a spike in negative reviews, I think setting up some alerts, some notifications to alert the team and to shift focus on those can help you navigate these a little bit more easily, and also to prevent more negative reviews from happening, right? Because if you are alerted in advance, then you can alert internally the development teams or whoever needs to be involved in the fixing process, and you can fix the issues quickly. And of course, when you fix an issue, this is something that I have noticed brings the most results with our customers, is to follow up with the users who had those issues and complained about them in the reviews. Not many companies do this, and I can understand when you have limited resources, time or human resources, then it's very hard to get back to these users. But we have noticed, for example, in the context of app stores, when you follow up with the user, telling them that the issue was fixed, or a feature that they requested many times was added, then they are more likely to come back and change their rating and their review for a positive one. So I think that's another way to influence users' opinion about your product. And of course, there are other best practices. If you encounter, you will see reviews that are false, that share false information about your product or a service. And I think it's important to still address those, not to be confrontational with these users, but to politely clarify what is true, actually. Again, we are not responding only to the user that left the review. We are responding to for everyone. And yeah, I think another area where I want to dive a little bit in a moment is automation. When you have a large volume of reviews, if you can use automation, and I think here we need to think about it carefully, of course, but if you can leverage automation, I would encourage you to do it, because there will always be repetitive like reviews that you will have the same answer to. If there is a well-known issue that the users are dealing with, and your answer is the same, meaning you redirect them to a support form, for example, then I think automation can take care of that, so that you can focus on responding to more those long and negative reviews that I mentioned earlier that you should prioritize. We also live in a world where AI has taken over, and I think you can use ChatGPT or other tools out there to create your response template in a fast way. But here I would advise you to pay attention to the tone. One thing that I've noticed with AI responses is that they're very tone deaf. So they are very formal, and they might not catch also the tone of your users or the tone of your brand. So yeah, that's something to pay attention to. In terms of, I want to talk a little bit about the challenges that we see in social media. I think in reviews management, it's usually related to volume. It's the fact that users are complaining about the same thing, and it all sounds like it's just complaints. So what kind of challenges do you see, Waleria, companies experience on social media, and how can they address those challenges?
Mm-hmm. There is a lot of things that can go wrong with social media. That is sad true, but it also have great rewards when you use this social media correctly. But what can happen and what can go wrong is for me, first of all, negative feedback and complaints. I mean, people tend to throw their sorrows on your fan pages and stuff like that for other people to see, and they are more, unfortunately, people are more likely to say something when they are not happy with the product, and not when they are happy with So negative feedback is a common one. Mentioned before, crisis situations also are happening. Often they start and escalate on social media because it's harder to, I don't know, happen when on the blog or something like that, under the post you wrote on your brand's blog. Sorry. And another challenge is what I mentioned before, and it's managing a lot of platforms at once, and this can be overwhelming. And I'm sure of that, and I know that a lot of people are like fed up with responding to it, especially when it comes to internet, where people are not so polite as they would be face to face. They think that they are anonymous. So when you're in, I don't know, controversial area, or like the topic is fragile, you have to be prepared for a lot of negative comments, and this is a lot of them on different platforms. It can be overwhelming. Also, there are people that just want to take advantage of that they are anonymous, so there are trolls and like the bigger issue, which is online harassment. This all have to be taken care of, and this is like super important to do so. And for like those challenging, what I would advise you guys to do is first of all, establish a social media monitoring system, and with that you can control everything faster. I mean, when the technology is on your side. I mean, we know that AI took over the world, and soon blah blah blah, but yeah, it's all there to help us. And I think that there is a lot of apps and services that can make your life easier. Also, when it comes to the crisis I mentioned before, and that it's happening on social media, I think that there is like everybody should have a crisis plan, like a crisis management plan, where they know step by step what to do. And you can take time. You don't have to rush into things. You don't have to response that no, it didn't happen, or something like that. That would be your first response. You want to save the situation, but that's not how it works. You have to be prepared. You have to have a plan. And if you are not if you don't, just take your time. Not too much, because the crisis is happening, but take your time to think all things over. And as you mentioned before, before responding promptly is also a key. Myself, I don't like when I'm waiting, I don't know, 3 days for a small app to respond to me. I know when I'm having issues with Facebook that it's taking more. Of course, they have a lot of customers, but when you're smaller company, the problem and the responsibility is bigger. Also, be transparent. Most of crisis happens when people are, pretending not to be what they are, trying to wash themselves of the sins and stuff like that. And when you're transparent and when you're morally correct, everything like works. I mean, there is also a small chance for the crisis to happen, but it's smaller than when you're pretending. Because I hope, and I see it myself, that brands are finally recognizing that, and there is like more social responsibility for them, and they are taking this under consideration when they are giving their what they are planning to do, what they are aiming for, what are their key priorities and stuff like that. So this is important. And staying proactive, like when people are saying something, just push them a little bit, ask what more they can say, ask how they like something, now, even if there is just a smiley face under your post. And also, like I mentioned before, there are people to take this job to do it properly, and so this is also important to train social media managers to give them what you need, and focus on that. And yes, there are some do's and don'ts when it comes to some of that you mentioned before, some of the that happened during this conversation. But if you're following those rules, it is safe to say that most of the your online reputation will be just fine. Your online reputation will be safe. So just show empathy, apologize when necessary. Don't say that it was not true or stuff like that. If it's it has to be take it offline, like write an email, call this person. This is different situations, so maybe calling is not always an option, but telling that give me your email, please, we will address it, and we will do blah 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 something. And this also helps for the customer to see that they are heard, that they are taken care of, that their needs are taken seriously. Provide solutions, like whenever the a customer is saying that they have a problem with your product, don't say sorry to hear that. Make step forward, do something about it, tell what they can do, tell them that you're resolving the problem, and you will be back with the follow-up, and be back with the follow-up. Keep your promises, and maintain professionalism. I know that sometimes it's hard when you're having I don't know, somebody who wants to show how disappointed with your product they are, but and I saw cases that social media managers lost their temper, and it's just not worth it. It's a small satisfaction, but the bad that it makes is not worth the effort. Don't ignore the negative feedback, as you mentioned before. Don't engage in public arguments. Whenever you see an argument, just stay out of it. You should monitor it, and I don't know, block people or stuff like that if it's serious. But just don't get into those push-arounds situations. Don't make false promises, like I will follow up and you don't, and don't violate privacy or confidentiality. I mean, sometimes it's important, like that there is in Europe a lot of rules that have to be followed. So if it comes to privacy, so do follow them, and don't automate the generic responses. This is also like a real pain, because you can see, I mean, the AI is advanced and this technology is advanced, but you still can see when this is the robot that is replying to you. I mean, it's less obvious now, but if it's possible, just give them the touch of this humanity behind this tone, make them feel that there is a real person on the other side, and with those do's and don'ts, you will be fine.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of these are such simple and obvious things, like showing empathy, or apologizing when necessary. But I think because we are so caught up, and again, in first of all, in our day-to-day, we probably have, as social media managers, we probably have different responsibilities. And again, different channels, a lot of angry users, and I think we so easily forget about these simple things that actually go a very long way. And like you said, when we forget about them, when we forget to apologize, and or we forget to show empathy, the impact can be so big. I do want to pick on one thing you said, which I think is very important about not neglecting positive feedback. And I think we can get out of the negative feedback zone into the more positive one. And I think it's so important not to forget about the positive feedback. We are, again, more often than not, I see companies focusing mostly on or only on negative reviews. And I think that's great. Again, those should be prioritized. But at the same time, in order to build loyalty and trust with your users, you need to say thank you for those positive reviews as well. If we think about the fact that as human beings, we are more likely to complain than to share something positive, those users who go out of their way to share a positive reviews, I think they should be rewarded.
Yes.
And not only that, but we can use these positive reviews to our advantage. And I think there's some ideas that I want to share with everyone. I mentioned before, you can turn them into testimonials, and I'm sure everyone has a review section probably. If not, then it's a good idea it's a good moment to start creating a review section on your website where you share this testimonial. This is very common. You can share these samples on social media or in marketing materials, in your email newsletters, etc. And then you can also incorporate them in ads. I think if you add a testimonial or your rating, your product rating in your advertisements, it just adds more credibility to your message. You can also provide referral incentives. Again, satisfied users will probably talk about a product and will share their experience with others. So why not rewarding them for that, right? You can offer discounts or exclusive offers, and encourage them to refer their friends, family, or colleagues. And ultimately, and this is more common in the B2B space, but creating case studies can definitely help with your sales. They can, because you're providing basically real life examples in these success stories, right? They're much more detailed, and also you have a targeted audience. Yeah, so if you share these case studies, other users in the same industries can easily relate to this, and you can unlock new opportunities there. Speaking of positive things, and I want us to end on a positive note. I'm also very aware of the time. I want to leave time for questions too. Waleria, can you share from your experience an example of a successful reputation management strategy?
Sure. I part of my job is actually conducting interviews, case studies with clients from Brand24, and main use of Brand24 is managing online reputation. It tracks every mention of you or of the field of the your competitors, and it's putting it right in this one place. So also there are statistics and stuff like that helps AI powered features. So our customers are the great example of how you can manage those online reviews. And one of them is, for example, one of my I shouldn't say that one of my favorite customers. His name is Jacek, and he's he started an NGO that promotes donating blood, and they are NGOs, so they don't have a lot of funding. All they have is from their collaborators and stuff like that. So their resources are limited, and they use only Brand24 for their reputation management and for partners acquisition, because those are two marketing things they do. And like for Jacek, he's always checking on their mentions and how people are responding, and actually they developed their service because they are like promoting the Blood Nation with marathon through Polish coast, where I'm actually am, and that is why they during the pandemic it was hard for them, and people were like, it was hard for people to know where they are, where they can join the marathon, where are people running at this point and stuff. So a lot of people were complaining about it in social media, and they took the step forward, and they heard the message, and they uploaded an app on mobile phones that is available, and you can use it, and it had great popularity among people that were using it. Also, there is also one other client that I had pleasure to talk with not so long ago, and it's our like client click meeting, which is the app for webinars, and they not only listen to what their users are saying, but they also like track their competitors, and because of that they noticed also during pandemic, where everything went to the internet, that people are having digital fatigue, which is term for being bored and tired of looking in your monitor all the time. Now we adjust it, and a lot of people still work online, but for that moment it was something new. And they also like developed some next steps, and they were communicating with their consumers, and made like a toolbook of how to what to do with this digital fatigue, and it was like very helpful for their consumers. So just like they listened and they responded to it, and because of that they get great reviews, and this makes like their products better, or services, or like charities and stuff like that. So like actually all of our customers use Brand24 for online reputation, because as I mentioned before, it's main use, but like opportunities are limitless actually, because you can just check if it's something wrong with like there is a peak in your negative feedback, or you see that sentiment is going up or down really dramatically. You can monitor the market and see what opinions like I don't know, ChatGPT has, so you can see what, or AI itself, so you can, as a new AI startup, you can see where is the need for and for what, and you can monitor your competitors and see what's happening there and how you can be better than that. And so like there is a lot of use cases that and case studies that shows that online reputation is just a great way to go, and it is time consuming, but with like the help of the AI powered or not technologies, you can make it faster, and it will be of great benefit to you.
Absolutely. And I think those were two fantastic examples. I really love how your customers, how perceptive they were of the issues that the users had, and how quickly they responded with help and resources. I really love that. If I was on the consumer side, I would have felt very loved.
Yes, all our consumers are loved, and that's because we take care of our online reputation, and we
Exactly.
see and hear what they say. So it's not only that our users use our tool for online reputation management, but we also do it. So it's not like I'm telling you guys what you should do, and I do not follow those rules, because I do.
Awesome, awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Valeria. I think we can move to some questions, and there are two questions here, one for me and one for you. So I will start with you, if that's okay.
Sure.
Can you provide tips for maintaining a positive online reputation for individuals or personal brands?
Sure. With those, it's like it's simpler and harder at the same time, because simpler because people tend to be more empathetic, like for individuals. They see this person, so it's harder for them to be harsh and to leave negative feedback. But at the same time, they are the only one responsible for their personal image, so this is like a great responsibility, and you're the only one that can focus on that. But I would say that the same rules apply, and for that I mean that you should like take a really good look into what are people saying on your fan pages, on your channels, because maybe you are an influencer and you have a YouTube channel or TikTok channel, and you should respond to them. People love to be seen by like personal like personas. So when you're for example an influencer somewhere, it means more for people that you responded to them, than if it would be a brand that responded to them. So take care of that and take advantage of it, and yeah. So this is like one thing to remember. The other crucial one, I would say, would be to like address the issues and listen to what those people are saying. So like they are involved in the, for example, I'm talking on an example because it's easier. Like when you're an influencer on TikTok, people are involved in your life. They want to know more about you, so don't neglect them and just give them what you want to show, but you have to treat them like your friends, like your family, like they look up to you, they want to know more about you. So at the same time you're giving your personal I lost the word, your private life, but it's the cost sometimes for being an influencer, so don't be shy. And so yeah, but I think that most of the rules that applies to the brands and to services and products would be also suitable, but on the not as big picture, but would be also according, they can be accordingly fit to the private and influencers. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Valeria. And then a question for me: how can companies attract more reviews? Very, very good question, and I can speak for the mobile and the B2B space, but I think some things, the same advice can be applied to other industries. I think one thing that I've learned from mobile, and obviously the golden rule is to ask for them. Ask your users for feedback. In mobile, I think it's also very important when you ask for users for feedback. It's important to do it at various stages of the user's journey. That's something very important to consider, because that will, of course, influence. You want to have a diverse type of feedback, right? So you might place your rating pop-up after a successful journey, or maybe you want to gather more insight into like the issues that users have. So maybe there's like a journey that is problematic, and you need to understand what users are, what the experience is there. So then you would put the rating pop up there, and then you can. Something that I've learned from the B2B space is providing incentives. You can definitely, and I think it's worth allocating a bit of a budget for this. I don't know, offering. I can tell you, I have left so many reviews in exchange for Amazon gift cards. Especially recently, I'm very happy to shop.
We also at Brand24 we also had this giveaway, so also Amazon cards, so I can understand.
Yeah, exactly.
It works very well. That's true.
Yeah, exactly. Something that we practice as well as a company, incentivizing our customers to leave reviews, and it always works. I can tell you that. So yeah, these would be two practices that I had in mind. We are reaching the end of the hour. Valeria, thank you so much for all of the insights. I had a great pleasure chatting with you today about such an important topic. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope this was insightful. You're going to receive the recording, so yeah, look out for that. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.